And welcome to Scott Bryant's Fitness Systems or Active Bryant Fitness Systems, and I'm going to talk about two books. One book is the German body comp training book, and the second book is Charles Poliquin's Principles. Now, please subscribe, press that subscribe button and press the bell icon at the top. So with Poliquin's Principles, that come out first. It's quite hard to get. On eBay it's about 150 quid. I will not sell mine. And the German body comp program come out later after that. And what I learned in the German body comp training book is how to use BCAAs and how to make a thermostat before I train, and how to do German volume training in which to get optimum results. Now, Nick Mitchell in London is very successful, was doing really well, opened up a few gyms. This is the system that he uses all the time, as well as using body fat caliper measurements, which I totally agree with. I believe that the more tools that you've got to use with your clients, the more results, better results that you can get. And if you're taking body fat caliper measurements every week, then they can see the improvement, so can you, and find out when they're cheating on their diet and stuff like that, so you can tell them off, give them a bollocking like I do. So with the Poliquin's Principles, he talks about calf training, and like I said in the video earlier, lots of people don't understand in the gym to get bigger calves you have to do high reps, loads of sets. But I'm not going to tell you the secret, because the secret is in the book, so you need to buy the book. There was other secrets in there about how to get the hamstrings to perform much better and to get thickness in the hamstrings, how to improve your chin-ups, how to improve your muscle mass all over the body. Charles Poliquin said he was good friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they used to swap tips and stuff, and that he didn't like Mike Tyson because he was a rapist, which I thought was quite a strong comment to make on YouTube, you know. But apparently, from what I can gather, Charles wasn't really liked because he was quite, how can I put it, very clever and very, you know, he'll shoot you down in flames with a couple of comments like, one of them, which I thought was really funny, your arms are so big, I've seen bigger arms on an armchair. That's just really comical. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to meet him or to do his courses, but I've got 24 of his books here, which is great to have because I'll never get rid of them. I always go back to books to back up my knowledge. Like in the German body comp training book, Charles talks about 30 grams of BCAAs, and some clients he's had gained 30 pounds of muscle. Now, during the pandemic, I wasn't very well, and it wasn't coronavirus, it was a candida problem. And I went down to 11 stone, and I'm normally 15 stone. So I went down to 11 stone, couldn't lift anything, couldn't lift my kettlebells, couldn't do fuck all. So I started using the Chek system of doing the zone exercises, which I did for about 3 months, I think. I did zone exercises for 3 months, and then I started to add some extra Tai Chi exercises from a book that I read that Paul recommended, which was amazing. So I started using these internal exercises, and slowly but surely I started to feel better and better and better. Then I started lifting, and then I got this book out that when I very first bought it, I looked in, you know when you get a book, you just look at it quickly and you go, I'll read that later, and I knew a guy that was a child, he was done a bit of Paul's work but didn't complete it, and done a bit of Charles' stuff and didn't complete that neither. And I think that's just loser mentality in the fitness industry. You need to go to the complete end of a course in which to be really good at what you do, in my opinion. But obviously there is good guys out there that only do half a course. Now, you wouldn't do half a degree, would you, in my opinion? So I went all the way to the end of Chek level 4 master. They've now changed it to some other thing. I think it's just level 5 they call it now. But I got my masters, which I was really, really pleased about. And I didn't do any of the Charles Harlequin stuff because this book was put under the shelf type thing. And then during the pandemic, because we had all that time, I started backing up my knowledge and started reading again. And I read that book and I thought, I'm down to 11 stone. I need to get back up to 14, 15 stone because that's where I feel really good, you know. So then I started doing the 30 grams of BCAAs, sort of read it in the book and thought, is that true? Is that not true? And I'd done a TikTok video on it and they was all saying it's all crap, it's not right, and BCAAs don't work. They fucking work for me because I went straight up to 14 stone, 14 and a half stone again, which I was really, really happy about. My strength went up, everything went up. And I went in the gym 3 Sundays ago and went and done some hardcore training, hoping that I could lift what I could lift before. I was doing nearly double what I did before, and all I do is train at home at the moment. So I was doing deadlifts, 180 kilo, tricep push downs, the whole stack, 55 kilo bicep curl, bent over row, 45 kilo, 50 kilo bent over row, cable pull, the whole stack, cable push, half the stack, abdominal crunches with 45 kilo on my chest, crunching. So I was mega happy that the German volume training that I was doing after doing all the zone and the Tai Chi stuff to put good energy inside the body enabled me to get strong again. And I just had a message come through. Sorry, it's gone now. Enabled me to get strong again and enabled me to push myself. With the German volume training, I was doing like 12 sets of 12, 8, 25. 25 just kills me. But the 12 and the 8, especially the 8, I was really good at. And I know that if I train for 6 reps, my body really loves it. And I love that too. But obviously, because I train a lot at home, I haven't got the gargantuan weight that I would normally have in the gym. I am going back to the gym. But after being in the gym 3 Sundays ago, and this guy said to me, do you want to borrow my reps? Because I was lifting a lot of weight for 1 rep. And he goes, do you want to use my reps? I went, reps are for girls, mate. You need to work on your grip. And he went, well, you need to use reps because if the bar's wet, you need to wrap it around so you don't slip out your hands. And I went, the bar should never be wet. Neither should your hands. Don't you know that? And it really made me think that there's still guys doing the complete wrong thing, and it's 22 years on in the fitness. You know, I've been in the fitness industry for 22 years, and they're still doing it. You're wrong. And when I was in there, I didn't see one personal trainer chatting to anyone. I see rubbish. I see a broken mirror. And I went over to another person. I went, can I use the cable machine? Because I want to do split standing cable push, which I learnt through the Chek Institute. And it engages your core. It's an awesome exercise. And the guy was on his phone like that. And I went, look, I'm going to use it. And he went, you can't. I'm going to use it in a minute. I went, mate, you're on your fucking phone. Get off your phone and fucking train. And he was giving it all that. And I'm like, I'm going to punch him, but I'm going to walk away. So I walked away. And then I started doing some bent over rows and some other stuff. And then this other guy come up to me. I was doing seated chest press. And I just put up to 3.5 20s each side and a 5. And he come over, he went, can I use it? And I started stripping the weight. I said, do you want me to take the girly weight off? He went, you're funny, ain't you? And I'm like, oh, have a fucking sense of humour on a Sunday, you fucking drip. And this is one of the reasons why I've not really gone back to a gym membership, because I like to be intense when I'm in the gym. And if you get in my way, I'll be intense with you. Another time I was in the gym and and these 2 guys were using an Olympic bar each, and there was only 1 Olympic bar. There's 2 Olympic bars, but 2 guys using them. But they're training together, so why can't they superset with a 1 bar? So I went up to him, I went, I'm going to take that bar. No, you're not. I said, yes, I am, and I took it. And as I was taking it, he said, you can't take that. I just said, yes, I can. I said, you two can use the same bar. You don't have to have a fucking bar each. I said, you're taking the piss. And I just walked off and started deadlifting with 420s a side, just to show them. So that was a a funny scenario. Right, I'm digressing and going all over the place. So with the German Harlequin's book, German body comp program, I'm really disappointed I didn't meet him and that he passed away age 57, which is really sad. But if you watch a lot of his videos, you can tell that he knew something wasn't right. And if you look at his breathing pattern, when I breathe, it's through the belly, into the chest, and then out again. He was like really restricted in his upper area. And if you watch his videos, you'll see that. You'll see he's constantly breathing up here, like really short breath and stuff. Whether that had something to do with his heart attack or not, I don't know. But it sounded like he had a genetic defect, which hundreds of people have, which trainers, doctors, nobody tests for it until you're fucking dead, which is not right, is it? So in the book, he talks about thermogenic load, he talks about recovery, and he was the guy that really put it out there about tempo, the speed of movement of what you're doing. And that, when you're doing German volume training, is fucking hard. So now I understand, I never thought that puking in the gym was a good idea. But if you're taking your body to that limit, then it may make you feel like that. I don't want to feel like that. But when I train until I get slight shakes. Then I know that my adrenal glands and my body's really, really tired. So then I will, don't forget to subscribe. Then I will cut down on my training. The only thing I don't agree with, but I can't really not agree, because this guy works with 400 athletes in 200 different sports. It'd be pretty arrogant of me to disagree. There's like 10 or 12 exercises per program. Now, I just do 6 exercises because that's what I learned at the Chek Institute, and I found in 2 years, no injuries. 6 exercises, 12 sets, 12, 8, 25, or you can mess around with it and find what works for you. Remember that nothing is set in stone when it comes to training. If you do stuff that's set in stone, or you think it's set in stone, you won't get results. You need to keep trying different things out to find what works for you. And this is what I do with my clients. Like before reading another one of Harlequin's books, I used to get my clients, and because they'll go away for 3 weeks, then you'll see them for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then they'll go away for another week, then you'll see them for 2 or 3 weeks. It means that they are not really getting all of the program that you'd give them, which will be 4, 6 or 8 weeks. But Charles says, which I totally agree with, if you have a training age of 6 years, where you've been exercising constantly for 6 years, your workout program needs to change every 2 weeks. And that's exactly what I do now. So even though I'm still sticking to the 12 sets, 6 exercises, I'm constantly changing it every 2 weeks. Because I'm 52 now, and if I stuck to the same program for 8 weeks or 4 weeks, it'd slow down the change and the improvement. Does that make sense? Nod your head. Nod your head down. Yes, it does. So you have to remember training age, exercise prescription of what exercise that your body can do. So if you can't do a chin, lower the bar on the disabled Smith machine and do a half a chin up. And then as you do it econcentrically coming down, go down very slowly, do that for 6 weeks, then higher the bar. Keep hiring it until you can do a full chin. Then when you can do 1, you can do 12 if you keep pushing yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah? So that's how I get my clients if they can't do chins. Because I know women love to do chins, and if you can get them to do chins, they love you forever because they couldn't do it before. The same with a press up or other exercises. So the other thing I'll say about the Charles Harlequin German Body Comp program is that if you look at the back, you'll see that both people or both photos have got winging scapulars. And winging scapulars would show that the pectoral minor is too tight and it's not been stretched, and they might be weak in latimus dorsi, or maybe weak in the rhomboid area or the serratus anterior here, in which to flatten out their winging scapulars. And this is what I learned through the Chek Institute and not through Charles. Does that make sense? But Charles showed through manipulating the face here that you can make the hamstrings looser. But what he did, he moved the leg twice to show, then he did the manipulation, then he showed that the leg could go further. So in some respects, he warmed up the body a little bit earlier, then he did the manipulation on the face, then he did the movement. So it was still impressive. I'm not saying it wasn't. But if you see how in depth and hard he was doing it, some girly clients and man-girly clients, they wouldn't let you do that. The same with body fat calipers. When you take body fat caliper measurements and you're pinching the skin, you're pinching to pull it away from the fat in which to get the right measurement, that's quite painful as well. So you must say to your client, look, this is maybe a bit painful, and but it's going to give us the measurement, and you've got to get fucking used to it and man up and stop being a pussy. No, I'm only joking. So really, really important that these two books... Oh, sorry about that. Oh, these two books are absolutely amazing. Excellent knowledge. These are like my gold dust. I still go back to them. Sometimes I forget stuff, being dyslexic. But I'll go back to it, read over it, and then I've got the stuff in my head. So I found that the fish oil technique in the book worked. I found that the BCAAs really boosting it really worked as well. But obviously it costs a lot of money. And this is why I charge a lot of money to see clients. Because I don't want them to sabotage their training with me. Does that make sense? If I take on a client that's what could I say? That's not a builder, because builders. I'm trying to think of a road sweeper or a shop worker that fills shelves. They might only be able to afford me once a week or once a month. So how can I really get them results when I know that I need to do the holistic lifestyle coaching that I learnt with the Chek Institute? Then I might need to do functional diagnostic nutrition lab testing. Then I might need to recommend different supplements and stuff like that, depending on how their body is functioning. So I've got to be very careful who I take on board. And this is what you need to do if you're a trainer, coach, or somebody that's working on people to get them stronger. Unfortunately, with the Chek program and the Harlequin stuff, it's not really recognised by UK doctors. They're slowly getting there, but they're a bit fucking slow, retarded slow, unfortunately. But we can make the difference as trainers and coaches to try and get them on board to help them to understand. Because if you went to your doctor, go, I'm taking 16 grams of fish oil because my trainer said, they'll go, he's talking bollocks and you shouldn't take that. And the only reason why they're saying that is because, like Charles said, the bigger percentage of doctors do a 6-year degree. Their degree is bought and paid for by the drug medical companies. Okay, so they get lots of backhanders. So they're pushing stuff out that the drug company wants them to push out. And they do like a week on nutrition. So they know absolutely nothing about nutrition. Does that make sense? But they can mend your broken arm and get you out of pain. I'm not saying that all doctors are terrible. I'm just saying that doctors' knowledge on anatomy and physiology can be really shocking. Doctors' knowledge on supplementation can be really shocking as well. So you have to be careful. And like Charles said, just because they've done a 6-year degree doesn't mean that they're any good. Does that make sense? And Charles was saying he had lots of doctors argue with him when he's working with high-profile clients. The same with Paul Chek. He said that multiple times. The doctors will not take on board what he's trying to tell them simply because their degree's bought and paid for by the medical company, and they're all about quick fixes, not about getting to the root cause. Oh, right, you're getting this pain in your lower back because you've got dysbiosis of the gut, you're full of fungus and parasites, you're drinking too much, that's dehydrating your spine, which is then giving you pain, and you've got a structural anomaly. And this is what I love about the Chek system, is that we go deeper than anybody. The doctor, the physio, the chiropractor will not do what we do. Period. They'll just get you in, crack you, and give you a basic program, or like I had a client was seeing a physio, seeing him every week, didn't get out of pain, knee pain, neck pain, and I found he had dysbiosis of the gut. I found out he had anterior pelvic tilt. I found out he had an inverted breathing pattern. I found out that he had stinking thinking of his own mind. I found out that he was eating typical Indian food, which was curry and rice. And when I sat next to him, I said, "You smell like an Indian." And he went, "Yeah, but yeah, that's right. That's how I should smell." No, it isn't how you should smell. You shouldn't smell any of your food, because if you're smelling your food, it's showing that your gut is not working properly, and this could be the root to all your pain. And he went, "Okay, I'll sign up with you. How long's it going to be?" I said, "A minimum of a year. Are you going to be committed to a year?" And he said, "Yes." And then within that year, when he first started with me, he couldn't lift 7 pounds off the floor. When he finished with me, he was doing 120 pounds off the floor with no pain, feeling great. So that's the results I've got from the Chek program. But obviously using both of them, the Chek program and the Harlequin program, but especially German volume training. Phenomenal results. Phenomenal. You've got to train hard. You can't be a pussy. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe there. Please press the bell icon to get regular updates. And I hope you've enjoyed this video about the German body comp program and the Charles Harlequin book, Harlequin's Principles. That a really good friend got me this, and I love him to bits, but we've not spoken for a while, and that's my fault. That's not his fault. But I need to get on the phone. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe there. Please press the bell icon, and comment down below if you have something to say. All right? If you have something to say it down there, and we'll get to it. All right? Speak to you soon.